Welcome to Facing the Canon. My guest on the program is my friend Alexa PenaVega, actress and author of What If Love Is the Point? Alexa, welcome to Facing the Canon.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I was trying to remember this morning with Killy how long we've known you. I think I first met you in LA probably 12 plus years ago.
Oh, I mean, more. So I remember meeting you, but I met you before it was a proper introduction.
Yes.
Because you were speaking at Oasis Church.
That's right.
In Los Angeles when they had like another location years ago. So I'm talking over 20 years ago.
That was the first
I was still
time.
just a child. Yes.
Well, I remember that time, but it's great to have you on the program and great that we can have this conversation. Where are you speaking from?
I am speaking from Tennessee right now, just below Nashville. We are in our home. If you hear kids every now and then, I apologize. They so far are contained.
No.
But we'll see what happens.
Listen, it's Alexa, it's real life and we like real life. Now,
it's real life.
It's real life. We want to hear a bit about your own life journey. Now, in your early years, you were on a horse ranch.
Yes. I love that you know this.
What was that like?
It was amazing. And I think I've always strived for that for my family. I knew that one day my goal would be to have, whether it's a ranch or a farm or just outdoor space to raise my family because it was so meaningful to me. And while I didn't grow up full-time on a farm because I started acting very, very young, so I would kind of travel all over the place at a very young age, it was something I'd always craved.
Yes.
And God led us here to Tennessee, and it is everything we've ever dreamed of. The community here is amazing. Exploring the land here has just been so fruitful. It's been truly just it was a divine move.
Now, your mother was a supermodel.
Yes.
and she traveled, and because your mother had you when she was 20,
yeah, she was very young.
Very young. She took you with her. Do you remember those years traveling with your mother?
I do. You know what? It's so funny because I know there are a lot of times where people are like, yeah, I don't remember my childhood. There are some moments that I just remember so vividly, and going with her to these shoots and meeting people. I think that was the first time I felt really inspired to want to be a part of this industry in some way. She was actually filming a music video for, oh gosh, I can't remember their names right now. Beach Boys, the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys.
And
she was in a Beach Boys that little band called the Beach Boys.
Yes, just that little band. And John Stamos was in it. And I just happened to be with her just because she brought me everywhere she went, and my little sister as well. And they put me in the music video. And that was kind of my first moment of, I really like this. This is super fun. And I don't know if that was like the moment God was like, this is for you, or like the spark or something. I just had a very large personality, which I can now see in my own daughter.
Yes.
So I just felt like it made sense. That was the moment where it all opened up for me. And it's because my mom took me everywhere.
But when you were 4 years of age, an agency invited you, wanted to take you on, and I gather that you had your first interview with Bert Reynolds.
Yes. So it was an agency that wasn't even taking children. I just so happened to, again, be with my mom and her friend as they were meeting with this agency. And the agent was just like, we don't take kids, but we really see something in her, it's so cool to look back on it, how God set everything up for me, because it was truly divine. It doesn't make sense any other way because we weren't there for me. We were technically there for my mom and her best friend, Cassidy. And for that to kind of open up for me was a huge thing. So that agent it gets crazier. That agent called this casting director from a television series called Evening Shade, starring Bert Reynolds and Mary Lou Henner. And at the time, there was a baby in the show, and it had been a baby for like 2 or 3 years. And she calls and she goes, "Isn't it time for that baby to grow up? I have just the person." So they set up a meeting for me to go in and meet Burt Reynolds. And I literally basically got the job on the spot because he asked me if I wanted to be on the show right in the room. And I told him at 4 years old, very precocious, I said I would have to think about it.
And he probably liked that.
I'm sure, but I don't remember saying that part. I've just been told that that's what I
you
said.
said. But when you were 11 years of age, Spy Kids came,
Yes.
and that was a massive season
It
of your
was.
life. What were those
Yes.
Spy Kid movies era like for you?
Oh, they were so special. It was a time before social media. It was a time before I don't want to say like comparison became just so much larger, but it was like even though, there was comparison back in the day, but social media has just exploded that so much. So we were able to just be kids, and we were growing up on this set that just felt unreal. I mean, they built these safe houses. They had all these gadgets laid out for us. I mean, it was a kid's heaven. I mean, just exploring and playing dress up every day was the coolest experience. And I got to live that for years. I mean, 4 years. We shot 3 movies, and we did giant press tours together. It felt like truly, and Robert, our director, uses the same casting crew over and over and over again. So you become super tight knit with these families. We came back years later, did a fourth one, and they recently did another one. We were not a part of it, but I went back with my family to visit the set. And again, it's all the same crew. So
Amazing.
walking onto that set with my kids was a very surreal
Oh,
experience.
it must have been. Alexa, one of the things Killy and I love about you and also about Carlos, you're both very honest, and you frequently make yourselves very vulnerable, and you talk
Yeah.
openly about struggles. And I've heard you speak about that season of your life when eating disorders
Yeah.
were a struggle for you.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame that, I don't want to say like, oh, I have all these regrets, but there are moments where I'm like, man, why did I allow myself to walk through the wilderness like that? Like I didn't have to. But I know that I'm going to use my voice now to help young girls and even young men who go through this as well. Just talk about eating disorder. Just talking about it, I think, is helpful. Growing up, it was at a time in our industry where I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah.
every tabloid had, whether it was Nicole Richie or Lindsay Lohan or Paris or anybody, just stick thin, like tiny, tiny, tiny. And even then, the whole thing was like, oh, she's looking a little chubby or whatever. And I look back at those photos, I'm like, they were so thin. How on earth
Yes.
are they calling these girls fat? But that for me is where it all started. I was so uncomfortable and insecure. Actually, I was on a movie where, when you are working as a child coming into your teenage years, your body is growing, it's developing, a lot of changes are happening. And I think a lot of us experience, especially girls throughout, junior high, high school, our bodies are fluctuating like crazy. Now, if we're just in the normal world, that's fine. But when you're on camera and you can see these fluctuations, it's really hard for movies to look the same because we don't shoot in chronological order. We shoot all over the place. So I remember having a producer call my agent just saying like, hey, and at the time there wasn't sensitivity around it. It was very
Yes.
blunt. So we're like, hey, she's looking really fat on camera. We need to reel it in. And that was my moment, growing up with a supermodel mom who was always tiny, but we all, and she'll say it herself, none of us had a positive relationship with food because the industry that we were in always shaped food as just like either eat as little as you can, or when you're not shooting something, you can eat as much as you want. Like it became this weird thing that had a sad hold over my life for so many years until I really developed a strong relationship with the Lord. And that was really what started breaking chains. You know, I had this faith and I knew that He was going to free me from an eating disorder, but it really took me diving into the word because I had my shield of faith, but I didn't have the thing that would defeat the problem. And that was the sword, which is the word of God. And the
Absolutely.
second I started diving into the word, it actually gave me the weapon that I needed to defeat this thing that had such a stronghold over my life.
Yes, and you were always aware of God, but you didn't really dig deep into His Word. And I think
Yeah.
was it a friend of yours called Andrew that invited you to a Bible
Yes.
study. Tell us
I love
about
that you know all this.
tell us about that Bible study and the effect that it had on you. And that's where you met
Yes.
your husband Carlos.
That is. So this Bible study was super special. It had been going on for years. Andrew was a good friend of mine and had invited me for years, but I don't know. I don't know if I was just scared or if I just thought it was too much. You know, when I was growing up going to church, we did not go to the church. We went to a couple different churches, but we were not the people that like when we were in worship, we would raise our hands or anything. Like we always thought those were the weirdo Christians, like
Yeah.
because we just didn't know. I mean, honestly, even knowing God, like I knew there was God, Jesus, and then the weird one that we don't talk about, which is Holy Spirit. Like, what even is that? For years, that was my mindset. And when I finally said yes to the Bible study, I was freshly divorced. I was going down a path that I was not proud of at all. And, you know, luckily it was a very quick, short time, but I was just feeling God pull me like, Alexa, I want you back. And I want you in a way that you've never experienced me before. And it was really clear. So going into that first Bible study, was wild because I met a community of like minded people really for the first time. It was really hard to find people in the industry who craved a relationship with God. I just didn't know them. So there weren't a lot of conversations about faith. Now I feel like I have all those people in my life, but it really took years of cultivating those friendships and really just diving deep with God. So that was the moment that my entire life, my entire relationship with God, and then obviously meeting my husband, everything changed in that one night.
In that, yes. Well, I often say, Alexa, this is my new little saying. If you want to hear God speak, read the Bible. If you want to hear
Yeah.
God speak audibly, read it out loud.
Come on. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, I just, it's so funny, but it's really so simple. We love to complicate everything because we're overthinkers. I even posted something today saying, like, I will not overthink. That is something I do all the time.
Yes.
And it's so frustrating because he's like, I have made it really so simple for you to draw near to me. I've given you amazing tools to defeat the attacks of the enemy. I've given you amazing tools to help those in need and to like encourage you. And we just love making it more complicated than it actually is.
I love, Alexa, I love your passion for Jesus and Carlos's passion for Jesus. I remember Killy and we were ministering, I think it was Pasadena, and I called you and I said, oh, are you and Carlos free to come and see us? And I can still remember it. I think we spent 4 hours together. And the whole conversation was about Jesus. It was
Come on.
Jesus.
I love it.
But it's about Jesus. And the thing I really respect about you and Carlos is that you together, you're both actors, you're both singers, yet within the world in which you function, you're keeping in step with God's Spirit. And you're open about your faith in Jesus. You're not ashamed about him.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's funny to think back when there was a time where I was worried about speaking about God, but Jesus alone, like that, Jesus was off limits. Like, we don't speak about Jesus in public, it'll offend somebody, whatever. And just to think back at that time, I'm like, man, I was so afraid to be me. God is such a part of my life, Jesus is such a part of my life. And what am I worried about? Like,
I know.
truly, what was I worried about? And I think, that's something every young person goes through, but just being where I am now, it just feels so good because I'm not alone. I have somebody to carry me through the good times and the hard times. And, as you know, we went through a really, really difficult
Yes.
loss last year of our youngest child. And the only way to navigate a season like that is supernatural peace that you can only receive from the Lord. Like, that's it. There is no, I don't know how else anybody else navigates that kind of grief.
I know.
Yet he got us through in a way that, I mean, I get the verse, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, on a whole other level now, because how could anybody experience joy after the loss of a child? Like,
Yes.
how can you even experience joy, like the loss of the child being joyful? That sounds insane. It sounds insane. And yet her life had so much fruit. She has transformed us. We think of heaven every day now. You live differently. You
Yes.
just live totally differently after that.
Yes. Just to put it in context for those that don't know,
Yes,
you and
please. I'm
Carlos have
sorry.
got 4 children. You've got
Yes, we do.
3 on earth and 1 in heaven.
One in heaven, exactly.
and
One in
and
heaven.
tell us what happened last year, Alexa.
So last year, God really prepared me, I feel like, for what was to come. I think he always knew the attack of the enemy. He knew what was happening, but he really had my heart, all of us. And he said, like, I'm going to make a way. So I actually had a very rough pregnancy, and it wasn't my baby. It was me. My baby, her name was Indy.
Yes.
She was great, so safe, so wonderful, super healthy, perfect. My body was having all sorts of crazy things going on. And I think because it was such a rough pregnancy, it really drew me near to him in a way that, had it been a perfectly healthy pregnancy and like super easy, I don't think I would have been at his feet as often. And I think because it was so difficult, man, I was diving in the word unlike any other. And I was talking to God in a way that I had never really spoken to him before. And there was just so much new depth and him like breaking chains that, had a stronghold over me. I fall into people pleasing all the time. It's just something that I think in my industry, it's, you go, you do your work, then you go back to a director and you're like, did I do a good job? Did you like that? So my whole world revolves around people
Yes.
pleasing. But God's like, that's not of me. And I need you to break that off. And, that I was learning a lot during that pregnancy. So we actually had a heartbeat 2 minutes before delivery. She was doing great. And then when she came out, unfortunately, she never took a breath. But I actually feel like that was really powerful because I feel like she changed the world without taking a breath. And that's something pretty special. She was beautiful. She was a big girl. She looked just like Carlos. So she was cute. But what she did for our lives, I mean, just completely shifted everything. Even my kids, the questions that they started asking afterwards, the way that they grieved and the way they still talk about her and the way we're able to celebrate her life. It doesn't make sense other than like the Lord has really made it so joyful. And that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy.
But the Lord led you through that. You even
Oh yeah.
you've spoken publicly. You've had therapy, and I think that
Yes.
is so helpful to hear. And through
Yeah.
that, there was one particular vision that you had. Tell us about that.
Yes. Yes. So I was doing this very intensive therapy. God had already been healing my heart, but I didn't want 6 months from that moment to suddenly become shattered or a year later to become shattered. And I just wanted to go, you know what, God, I feel like you're calling me to just do something pretty intense right now. And I'm ready for it. So I went in, I did something called EMDR. And in it, you kind of relive the experience over and over and over again. And each time you get something new. And during one of the times I had this vision of right after I had delivered Indy, and she was by my side and she was not breathing. She was, currently trying to be resuscitated. But the room was filled with angels
Yeah.
around every single person that was in the room because it was an emergency. So everybody started coming in. And then there was also God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. Now I can't see a clear face, but I knew who was in the room with me. And in God's arms, Indy was there alive. And she was fine and healthy and great, but she wasn't next to me. And yet, instead of God and all the angels being like, it's okay, they're there, we have her, she's safe with us now, they were all weeping for us, just weeping, heartbroken for our loss. Even though she was alive in his arms, they were all just hurting for us. And that moment, like, oh, I can't explain that feeling because it just showed me another side of God that I so desperately needed. I think, we see God as this, almighty, all powerful, all knowing, all understanding, which is great. Those are all true. But God also, it tells us he weeps. When we weep, he weeps.
Yes.
It says it in the Bible, but it's so hard to picture God weeping for us and seeing that, I guess, in a way, vulnerability of like his pain, our pain is his pain. Man, like he really is God the Father. He's God the Father. He cares so much.
Absolutely, Alexa. You and Carlos have written this wonderful book, What If Love Is the Point? Well, what if love is the point? Tell us about this book, Alexa.
So, right after we got married, we just started asking, we were diving in with our faith and we just started asking a lot of questions. Like, what is the point? Like, what is the point of abstaining until you're married? What is the point of being healthy? What is the point of prayer? Like, just so many little things that we just accept in life without really asking ourselves these deeper questions. And we just started making this list, and slowly that list became a book. And one day, and we never really did anything with it, but then one day somebody approached us and they said, hey, we would love to do a book with you guys. Do you have any ideas? And we're like, actually, we have this list. So they said, okay, we want to do a couple books with you. First, let's tell your story and incorporate the list into the story. And then the second book we'll do with you will be more of a devotional where you get to really pose these questions that you've asked yourselves. I love that you have both of them.
We got it here. So tell us about
You are the best.
tell us about the devotional.
So what I love about the devotional, and this really was more of our passion. Like we love telling our story, but for us, we love challenging people. We love the idea of being a part of elevating somebody. And I just feel like God posed all these questions in our lives, all these little daily challenges for us, and they were crucial and pivotal to life changes for us, for us allowing ourselves to grow and reach our goals. And I felt like I want to share this with everybody. It's like when you meet Jesus and you're on like this Jesus high for the first time, where it's just, this is the craziest thing I've ever experienced. You want to tell the whole world, like you, and that's how we felt. And what I love about this book is you can do it, but then every year that you do it, you get something new.
Yes.
Because you are not in the same season as you were in last year. You are constantly changing and hopefully growing. So I feel like it's one of those books that even if you've done it once, don't just put it away. Continue to ask yourself those questions, because sometimes the answers will be very, very different
Yes.
from what you had 2 years ago.
I like the story that you tell about you playing with Ocean. You were trying to engage with Ocean,
Yes.
but Ocean was trying to look at the toys. Just tell us about
So
that.
many distractions. So, we were playing with Ocean on the floor, and he was looking at all the toys and the little knickknacks that I had for him. And, back then he was just a baby. I think he was only like a year and a half or something. And I just kept saying, Ocean, look at mama. Ocean, look at mama. And I was so frustrated. So finally, I just grabbed all the toys. I put them in the basket and I took away all the distraction. And I was like, Ocean, look at mama. And then he looked at me and had like the biggest smile. It was just such a beautiful moment. And it hit me in that moment as he like gazed into my eyes and my heart felt filled. God was like, that's what I feel like it is when I want to reach you.
Yeah.
I have to move all these distractions to finally get your gaze upon me. And it was a very humbling moment because I was like, man, I don't want God to have to remove the distractions. I want to be able to still have my toys because those are fun, but I don't want to forget about God in the process of the things that I enjoy, because at the end of the day, He's my true joy. So how do I, in a world that is so distracted, keep my eyes on him? And I feel like we've gotten a lot better. I'm sure there are days where we could be better, but yeah, we've just been so kingdom focused, and it's been
Absolutely.
a life changer.
And the Lord, Alexa, has opened up so many remarkable doors for you and
Oh yeah.
Carlos. I'm reminded of that scripture. You know, if the Lord opens the door, no one can close it. But if the Lord closes a
Come
door,
on.
no one can open it. And
I can open
sometimes
it.
when the doors close, we're trying to get in through the back window. But when He
That is
opens,
the truth.
it's true. But He has opened doors for you. One particular door that He opened for you and Carlos was Dancing with the Stars, which is
Yes.
a massive program. And tell us about what was the experience like. And I understand you and Carlos were the first couple ever to appear
Yeah.
on that program. So what was it like?
Oh man. It was hard. It was really hard, J.John, but it was so much fun. When we first got the opportunity to do that, we were really excited. But more than anything, our teams were kind of like, I don't know if this is a good idea. We want to brand you guys separately, not together. And for us, we were the opposite. We were going, what are you talking about? Marriage is like a ball and chain when you look at the entertainment industry. We want to shine a light on marriage. We want to show the holiness of marriage. We want to show people, especially young people who they don't get married anymore. I'm just like, no, we have to show them how awesome and fun and like how this is truly a team. This is truly a two becoming one. And it was awesome because we went out with that mindset going into that show. And I mean, if you watch it, there are moments where they are really trying to pin us against each other. Even one of the judges was like, you two cannot win together. The only way you can win is separately. So you need to focus more on your dance partner. And I was just cracking up because I was like, man, isn't that what the world tells us?
Yes.
Do your own thing, live your life your way. Like you have to do what makes you happy when that is not actually what we're supposed to be doing. So it was difficult. It posed a lot of challenges, but we were still very focused on shining a light on marriage. And the amount of letters and messages we have received, and not just from young people, from older people who said that we helped reignite their marriages by seeing what love looked like in a really healthy way. And it made me so excited, but also really sad that the television shows that we have, the movies that we have, very rarely shine a light on happy marriage.
Well, Alexa, you and Carlos are not only shining a light on marriage, you are truly shining a light in life and in the lives of many, many people. Just keep on keeping on, Alexa. Thank you so much for joining us on Facing
Thank
the
you.
Canon.
Thank you for having me. We love you and Killy so much. So it's an honor to be here.
And we love you and Carlos too. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that has inspired you. What a tonic Alexa is. And I hope that's infused a little bit more faith and hope and love in you. Thank you for joining us. Please join us again.